Have you ever found yourself trapped in a quiet performance, smiling when you want to say no, shrinking your needs so another can grow, saying sure, and then resenting the very person you helped? It starts so small, a concession here, a forced smile there, but over months it becomes a pattern that eats your time, your energy, and your sense of who you are. Why does this keep happening? Why do you keep trading your voice for a few minutes of peace? The answer is not that you're weak. It's that you were taught a survival script that worked once and now works against you. People-pleasing is an adaptive program. As a child, you learned that acceptance, calm, or safety arrived when you made yourself small or predictable. That strategy protected you then, but it becomes toxic when the same moves get replayed in adult life where different rules apply. Carl Jung offers us a blunt lens. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The pattern is not fate. It's a program you can notice, name, and interrupt. Start with the first move, noticing the emotional ledger. The next time you feel the urge to say yes and mean no, pause for 8 seconds. Notice 3 things. Where in your body the urge shows up: tight chest, hollow throat; the first sentence your mind writes, "I must be helpful," and the small price you're about to pay: time, energy, self-respect. Don't argue, just observe. This pause converts reactivity into data. Data is useful, panic is not. Once you notice, try a tiny, radical question out loud. Who am I protecting by saying yes? Most people are surprised at their answer. Often it's an internal younger self who feared abandonment, or a voice that equates approval with survival. Naming the protected part is not blame, it's recognition. The rescuer, the avoider, the performer. When you name the part, it stops feeling like a mysterious force and becomes something negotiable. The second practical move is a short negotiation line you can use immediately. Instead of the collapsing yes, try, "I can do X but not Y. How about this option?" Example: someone asks you to help a project, and your instinct is to say yes to everything. Your negotiated line might be, "I can help with the first 2 hours this week, beyond that, I can't." This gives the rescuer part exactly what it wants, the safety of having tried to help while protecting your actual limits. Negotiation is not coldness, it is smart compassion. There's also a swift linguistic trick that physically changes how your brain treats a request. Replace "I have to" with "I choose to" or "I can." The grammar matters. "I have to" primes shame and duty. "I choose to" places agency back where it belongs. Practice it now. Say aloud, "I choose to help with this," and notice how your posture and breathing shift. Language rewires habit. Boundaries are not monologues, they're micro-practices. Start with a 5-word boundary starter you can use in any context. "I'm not available for that." Short, factual, non-apologetic. If pressed, add one clarifying line: "I'm prioritizing other commitments right now." That combination, short refusal plus a factual boundary, is a template that prevents the spiral of over-justification. The more you explain, the more you invite debate. Brevity preserves dignity. You'll meet internal resistance. Saying no triggers guilt because an old part learned that approval equals safety. Meet that guilt with a small, tender script. "I hear you, younger self. Thank you for keeping me safe then. I'll keep you safe differently now." Say that sentence privately after any boundary and feel the guilt soften. This is not an excuse to ignore others' needs. It's a method to stop handing your nervous system to whoever asks. Practice micro-rehearsals. Spend 2 minutes in front of a mirror each morning for a week. Rehearse the short lines until your mouth knows the cadence. "I'm not available for that." "I can help with X only." "I choose this." The body remembers tone before the intellect can. Under stress, you'll rely on muscle memory. 2 minutes a day creates a new default. Now let's look at a real-life repeatable pattern and interrupt it. Many people pleasers default to fixing as proof of love. The pattern? Someone complains, you rush to solve, they feel better temporarily, you feel resentful later. To break this loop, insert one micro step between complaint and action. Ask a calibrating question. Do you want me to help or do you want me to listen? That single question shifts the dynamic. It respects the other person's agency and preserves your energy from becoming the automatic repair kit. The more you ask that question, the less you become the emotional extinguisher for everyone's discomfort. Another powerful move is to schedule your generosity. People-pleasing often arises from unlimited reactive giving. Flip it. Block help hours in your week. When someone asks, you can say, I can do that in my help hour on Thursday. This creates a structural boundary that your rescuer part can accept. It likes a plan. And it prevents endless, unplanned consumption of your time. Structure is the friend of firm limits. People will test you. That is normal. Old dynamics like your family's or friend group scripts will push to restore the familiar pattern. Expect a short period of discomfort or even pushback. Hold the line once or twice with the same short refusal, then let behavior do the teaching work. Consistency, not explanation, is the key. If someone becomes persistently disrespectful when you assert limits, treat it as information. The relationship may be misaligned with who you are becoming. A useful experiment: for the next 7 days, practice one boundary per day. Make it small but real. Decline one social invitation, say no to an extra task, or ask for help for yourself instead of fixing for someone else. Record the result in one line: what you said, how it felt, what happened. Keep the journal private. After a week, you will have evidence, small facts that show the path forward. Evidence beats self-criticism. Finally, remember Jung's deeper point. Authenticity is terrifying because it exposes you. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. People-pleasing is often a strategy to avoid that terror. When you practice tiny boundaries, you are not becoming mean. You are becoming a person who can be fully present without self-erasure. The world does not crumble when you say no. It reorganizes around someone with clearer limits and steadier presence. Stay with me. In the next part, we will map the exact sentences that preserve dignity and reduce conflict, rehearse refusal cadences that sound calm, not hostile, and give you a 4-week micro-program to make boundaries reflexive rather than dramatic. Are you ready to stop trading your presence for approval? Now we get practical. If part 1 planted the idea that people-pleasing is a survival program you can interrupt, here we learn the exact language, cadence, and micro-routines that make boundaries feel possible instead of hostile. This part gives you short scripts that preserve dignity, a rhythm for rehearsing them until your body knows them, and a fail-safe plan for the guilt that will show up when you begin to say no. Remember, the aim is not to become cold, it's to become honest and available on your terms. Begin with the smallest unit of refusal, the 5-word buffer. It looks like this: I'm not available for that. Period. Nothing else. 5 words. Short, factual, and non-apologetic. Use it to stop the momentum of a request so you don't sprint into an automatic yes. When someone asks more, add one clarity line: I'm prioritizing other commitments right now. That 2-line combo is surgical: a clean refusal plus a neutral boundary. It disarms most follow-up because it doesn't plead, explain, or beg for permission to exist. Next, learn the calibrated yes. People-pleasing often comes from an inability to offer partial help. Calibrated yes gives the helper impulse exactly what it needs: a way to help while protecting the rest of your life. Template: I can help with X for Y time. Example: I can help you draft the outline for 90 minutes on Wednesday, but I can't take the whole project. Practically, say the line once and then stop talking. The rescuer inside will want to explain or justify. Don't. Brevity prevents bargaining. A third line is the defer and decide move. When requests arrive that feel urgent, you don't have to decide instantly. Use, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." That one sentence buys cognitive space and removes the immediate performance pressure. People pleasers often answer quickly because they fear the silence will equal rejection. Practice the pause. Check your calendar, feel your gut about the request, then reply with a calibrated yes or a refusal. Tone matters more than content. People pleasers tend to use a high, apologetic cadence that invites more persuasion. Practice a lower, steadier pitch. Slow down your speech by roughly 10 to 15% and keep your volume even. Say your boundary lines in that steady tone and notice how fewer people try to talk you out of it. The body expects drama when it hears panic. Steady speech signals firmness, not anger. Now the rehearsal plan. Spend 2 minutes each morning for 7 days in front of a mirror. Step 1, say the 5-word buffer once. Step 2, say the calibrated yes 3 times. Step 3, practice the defer and decide line once. Do this as if you are speaking to someone you care about. Notice jaw loosen, shoulders drop. Repetition trains the muscle memory so when real pressure hits, you do not invent a performance. You have ready language. Expect the guilt test. It always comes. When you say no, a voice will whisper, "You're selfish." It's the echo of childhood bargains. Meet it with a short, compassionate script. "I hear you, younger self. Thank you for keeping me safe then. I'll keep you safe differently now." Say it once, privately, and then return to the behavioral fact. You set a limit. Guilt dislikes facts. It prefers moral drama. By naming the younger protector and offering it a new role, you disarm the guilt without capitulation. Use one structured question to evaluate borderline asks. What would I lose if I said yes? Not in moral terms, but in measurable terms. Time, sleep, focus, family hour. If the cost is real and not symbolic, the default answer should be no or a scaled yes. People-pleasing ignores cost because it trades long-term well-being for immediate peace. This question builds a cost ledger and makes the trade-offs visible. Create 2 small social scaffolds. First, a help window. Block a time each week labeled Help Hour. When asked for favors, offer that window as the place to schedule assistance. Second, a go-to refusal buddy. Tell one trusted person you're practicing boundaries and ask them to remind you of the 5-word buffer when you wobble. The buddy's role is short, a text that says 5-word, which cues you back to brevity and prevents overjustification. When people test you, respond with the same line once, then enact the behavior you offered. Boundaries teach by repetition and follow-through, not by argument. If you say, "I can help for 90 minutes Wednesday," then stop answering further push. Show up for the 90 minutes and protect the rest of your schedule. Your consistent behavior rewrites expectations faster than explanations ever will. Handle relational friction with the repair and educate approach. If someone gets upset when you say no, use the 3-step response. Acknowledge, teach, then restate your boundary. Example, "I hear you're disappointed. I'm practicing tighter limits so I can be fully present when I do help. Today, I can't do more than the 90 minutes. Short, factual, and forward-moving. You're not bargaining for forgiveness. You're clarifying how you intend to participate. Refuse performative empathy. People pleasers often silence their own needs by offering performative comfort. Words that say "I care" while their body checks out. Replace performative empathy with presence. Ask a simple question to the other person. Do you want help or do you want to be heard? That single question flips you from automatic repairer to calibrated responder. It reserves your energy for the moments it actually matters. Practice public boundaries in low-risk contexts first. Say no to one volunteer ask this week. Decline a casual overtime, or skip a social RSVP. Keep the refusal simple and log the result privately. What you said, the reaction, and how you felt 5 minutes later. The log isn't moral accounting, it's evidence. Over weeks, the evidence shows that the world doesn't collapse because you limit yourself. And that realization is the single most powerful antidote to chronic pleasing. Now a short note on empathy versus people-pleasing. Boundaries are not lack of compassion. In fact, better boundaries increase your capacity to help when it matters. When your bandwidth is protected, your yeses are generous and effective. The trick is to separate kindness from obligation. Choose generosity when it's sustainable. Choose boundaries when it preserves your ability to be generous later. Finally, a micro challenge for the next 7 days. Every morning, write one boundary intention. A single line like, "Today, I will say no to one last-minute request." Carry that line in your pocket or phone and read it before you respond to any ask. When the moment comes, use the 5-word buffer first. Repeat the mirror rehearsal each morning. At the end of the week, note what changed. More time, less resentment, clearer energy. Tiny, repeatable acts snowball into a different life. This is where things get real. Saying no once is an experiment. Living with steady, non-negotiable boundaries is the work. Part 3 is about the grit. How to hold limits when people push. How to repair when you soft collapse. How to keep compassion in the same breath as firmness. We'll practice exact language, somatic anchors, and relational rituals so boundaries become durable, not dramatic. First, expect tests. People-pleasing dynamics are systems, family roles, workplace habits, friend group patterns. When you change one element, your behavior, the system will push to restore equilibrium. Don't be surprised if you meet increased requests, guilt trips, or the old "you've changed" lines. Tests are data, not failure. They tell you which relationships were riding on your automatic yes. When a test arrives, you answer with the same calibrated tools you've practiced: the 5-word buffer, the calibrated yes, the defer and decide. Use the same line twice if necessary, then act. Saying the boundary once is information. Behaving by it is training. Second, the somatic anchor. People-pleasing is embodied: shallow breath, tight throat, quick pace. Create a one-move anchor to interrupt physiology. Try this. Place your hand lightly on your sternum. Inhale 4 counts, exhale 6 counts, say the naming phrase under your breath. I choose this. Practice it when calm so the body stores the cue. In a request moment, do the anchor before answering. The slow breath reduces urgency. The touch tells your nervous system you are present, not reactive. Over time, the body learns the pause. The pause gives your agency back. Third, scripts for escalation. Some people escalate pressure. You need words that are immovable but non-escalatory. Use 3 short templates. For repeated pressure, I understand this matters to you. My answer is no. For emotional manipulation, I see you're upset. I won't change my plan to fix that right now. For guilt-based arguments, I won't accept guilt as a tool to alter my boundaries. Say them once in a calm tone, then act on the boundary. Don't reopen the conversation. Behavior teaches faster than argument. If someone keeps pressing, remove yourself from the interaction with a short, factual exit. I can continue this later when it's calmer. Goodbye. The stop is not cruelty, it is clear teaching. Fourth, repair language for when you cave. You will cave sometimes. You are changing a pattern decades in the making. Use a quick repair sequence. Name, apologize briefly, no self-shaming, and restate the boundary. Example: I slipped and agreed. That was my old pattern. I'm sorry. I'll reverse that commitment and offer X instead. The repair is not meant to reopen debate. It's to restore trust and reset expectations. Fast, factual repair dissolves prolonged drama and builds credibility over time. Sixth, teach others what you're practicing. People react against unknown change. A short explanatory line softens tests without inviting negotiation. I'm practicing clearer limits so I can be more reliable. I'll say yes when I can actually deliver. Say it once in a calm place, not as a defense, but as orientation. You don't need to justify, but you can honestly name the work you're doing. People who care will adapt. Those who weaponize your limits will reveal themselves. Sixth, the gratitude and boundary combo. When you set a limit, pair it with a brief value statement. For example, I can't lead that meeting, but I appreciate you thinking of me. The combo communicates both firmness and relationship care. People pleasers often fear that no equals rejection. The value statement separates the two. I refuse this request, not the person. Seventh, boundary rituals for recurring zones, family dinners, workplace requests, friend group events. Create a short, repeatable script for each zone. For family, I can stay for an hour, then I need quiet time. For work, I'll take on tasks that fit my role. For extras, I'll discuss capacity first. Practice the scripts in mock runs. Rituals reduce ad hoc negotiation and give your rescuer part a predictable structure it can accept. Eighth, dealing with emotional blackmail. If someone tries to use your compassion as currency, after all I've done for you, stop and use a boundary refocus line. I see you feel hurt. I won't change my well-being for approval. Pair it with a concrete limited offer if you choose to help, or a withdrawal if you don't. Emotional blackmail thrives on ambiguity. Clarity deflates it. Ninth, scale your generosity without collapsing. The people pleaser's trap is unlimited giving. Create 3 tiers of generosity: micro, informal help under 15 minutes, scheduled, pre-agreed help windows, and deep, projects you commit to after capacity checks. Announce the tier explicitly when you agree. I can do micro help now. Deeper support would need scheduled time. This clarity protects your bandwidth and makes your help more reliable and sustainable. 10th, the mirror practice. When someone reacts negatively to your boundary, use it as a mirror. Ask, what part of me fears the loss? Name it privately. This feels like abandonment fear. Then apply a short self-protection sentence. I hear you, younger self. I'll keep you safe differently now. Turning pushback into internal data trains the part that used to seek approval to accept new patterns. 11th, public versus private boundaries. Some lines are best given privately, sensitive feedback, personal limits. Others are fine publicly, work capacity, event attendance. Decide the mode beforehand. Public clarity reduces second-guessing. Private handling preserves dignity. Example, a public refusal in a meeting might be, I can't take that on this quarter. A private follow-up can address relational nuance if needed. 12th, what to do when a boundary costs a relationship. Some relationships depend on your old pattern. If someone repeatedly violates your boundary after clear communication, you must treat it as information. Compatibility mismatch. That's hard but useful. Realignment is kinder than codependent conflict. Use the 3-step conversation. State boundary. Name the pattern. Offer a structural solution or exit plan. I've said no to overtime repeatedly. If this continues, we need to renegotiate roles or I will step back. 13th, daily micro-practice to keep the muscle strong. Each morning, pick one phrase to rehearse aloud for 2 minutes. The 5-word buffer, a calibrated yes, and a short repair line. Do one small, real boundary that day. Say no to one ask. Record it in a private 1-line log. What you said, the reaction, and 1 word about how you felt afterwards. That tiny registry converts vague anxiety into measurable progress. 14th, cultivate a boundary support group. Find 1 to 2 people practicing the same skill and swap weekly for 5 minutes. Each person shares 1 boundary they held, 1 they failed, and 1 tweak. Externalizing progress normalizes the discomfort and accelerates learning. Shared practice reduces shame and increases accountability. 15th, maintain compassion for your younger protector. Saying no triggers the old child that feared exile. Speak to that part. Thank you for keeping me safe. I will honor your intent but choose a safer strategy now. This internal conversation preserves kindness without capitulation. We'll finish in part 4 with a 30-day boundary plan. Daily microtasks, weekly rehearsals, relational drills, and a fail-safe repair protocol to keep the work humane and sustainable. We'll also include exact scripts you can copy for family, work, friendships, and romantic relationships so you never have to invent language under pressure. Are you ready to stop trading yourself for other people's comfort? If this video confronted you, made you think, touched a part of you that you usually avoid, then comment here. I choose to set boundaries. Now we close the circle with a 30-day boundary plan that is practical, humane, and designed to make limits reflexive instead of dramatic. This is not a boot camp. It's a gentle, repeatable architecture that honors the resistance you'll meet while steadily rewiring the old people-pleasing program. Follow the scaffold, keep it small, and treat every slip as data, not disgrace. Week 1. Stabilize the basics. Daily, 3 to 8 minutes. Morning mirror rehearsal. Read one sentence aloud. A short boundary intention for the day. Example, today I will say no to one last-minute request. Practice the 5-word buffer and one calibrated yes line in the mirror twice. Midday, one somatic check. Breath and hand on sternum for 5 slow breaths if you feel the urge to overcommit. Evening, one line log. What boundary you held or declined and how you felt. Keep language neutral and factual. Said no to extra meeting. Felt guilty for 5 minutes, calm after. The tiny habit proves you can do it again. Week 2. Harden the edges with social design. Daily, continue morning rehearsal. Twice this week, use the defer and decide line on a real request. Schedule your help window and offer it once. Weekly, pick one relationship to negotiate a small, clear rule. For example, tell family, I'll be home for dinner at 7, but before that, I'm offline. The goal is to create structural clarity so your rescuer part hears a plan, not an attack on generosity. Week 3. Practice under pressure. Daily, morning rehearsal plus one deliberate public no, a volunteer ask, overtime, or RSVP. Use the 5-word buffer and the calibrated yes in real time. Twice this week, run a 5-minute partner drill with a trusted person. Practice refusal and repair. Keep a short post-mortem. What line landed, what felt shaky, what behavior confirmed the boundary. Tests reveal teaching moments. Treat them like labs. Week 4. Integrate and iterate. Daily, the same micro-routine. Weekly, a 20-minute integration session. Review the log, notice patterns, and set one tweak for the next 30 days. Move your help window, change the buffer phrase, or add a pre-commitment rule. End the week with a small reward for consistency. A quiet coffee, a long walk, something aligned with your values. Rewards should celebrate skill, not feed the old cycle of approval. Exact scripts you can copy. Practice them until tone and breath make them comfortable. Work. I'm not available for that right now. I can help with X on day/time. Family. I can be there for dinner at 7, but I can't host the extra gathering. Friend. I appreciate you asking. I can help in this specific way, but not beyond that. Romantic/partner. I want to be present. I can support you with X this evening, but I need time to recharge afterward. When someone pushes, I understand this matters to you. My answer is no. If guilt escalates, I hear my younger self. Thank you. I'll protect them differently now. Fail-safe repair protocol. Use immediately if you cave. Pause, one breath. Own, one short apology. I slipped, I'm sorry. Correct, state the reversal or limit. I'll withdraw from that commitment and offer X instead. Log, one line in your tracker. Fast repair prevents shame long-term and demonstrates to others you mean your boundaries. A daily micro-practice to keep momentum. 1. Morning, 2 minutes mirror rehearsal, 1 boundary intention. 2. Midday, 1 somatic anchor check. 3. Evening, 1 line log plus 1 gratitude about a boundary held. This 3-step loop is low friction and high return. Consistency trumps intensity. How to handle the predictable testing window. When you change, expect a 3 to 6 week test from significant people. Extra asks, guilt trips, rhetorical dramatics. Your response pattern should be state the same line once or twice, follow through with the behavior you promised, and use the repair protocol if you cave. If the pressure is relentless and boundaries are repeatedly violated, escalate to structural change, less contact, clearer role definitions, or a mediated conversation. Persistence in behavior reteaches others what you mean. A note on tone and posture. Boundaries land when delivered slowly, softly, and steadily. Practice lowering your volume by a notch and slowing your cadence by about 10 to 15%. The steady voice calms your nervous system and reduces others' tendency to escalate. Pair speech with a somatic anchor, hand to sternum, 3 measured breaths, then the line. When children or emotional dependents push back, translate limits into safety language. I can't do that right now because I want to be at my best for you later. Framing protects both the boundary and the relationship by linking limits to care. With long-standing patterns, parents who guilt, be brief and factual. I won't be available that evening. I'll call tomorrow. Then keep it. On keeping compassion and firmness together, boundaries are not cruelty when they are framed as enabling presence. The generosity you can offer from a protected bandwidth is deeper than a drained automatic yes. Use the value statement when declining. I can't take that on, but I care about you and here's how I can help instead. That dual message preserves relationship while protecting capacity. Deal with internal resistance with 2 short moves. First, the younger self-acknowledgement. I hear you, child who fears rejection. Thank you for protecting me. Second, the factual counter. Name the concrete cost if you say yes. I will lose 2 hours of focused time tonight. And choose the aligned option. These 2 moves, compassion plus fact, undercut guilt's narrative without denying feeling. Accountability structures that actually work. A weekly check-in with one trusted friend where you report 1 boundary you held and 1 you failed, plus 1 tweak for next week. Keep it to 5 minutes. Public commitments work, but keep them small. Telling 1 person increases follow-through without turning your whole life into performance. If this content is making sense to you, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. A closing experiment you can do right now. Identify 1 recurring default yes in your life. Write the exact words you will say next time. Then rehearse them aloud for 2 minutes. Make the line short, factual, and paired with 1 micro-action. Offer an alternative time, a limited scope, or a help window. Use the line in the next 48 hours. Report the result in 1 sentence in your log. Small, practiced acts change the social field. If this video confronted you, made you think, touched a part of you that you usually avoid, then comment here. I choose to set boundaries.